Welcome back. Today we're taking apart an iPad Mini 2. Yes, I'm surprised people are still using these too, but they are still very capable tablets despite their age, and seem to outperform their larger counterparts from the same time, at least in terms of longevity. Let's get this over to the heating mat. It only takes a few minutes. These LCDs like to burn, so don't let this go above about 75 degrees Celsius. Next, I'll grab a trusty razor blade and start slicing. Because the Mini and Mini 2 didn't have Touch ID, a lot of replacement digitizers include a replacement home button pre-installed. This is great because it means you could haphazardly cut around anywhere you want and not really worry about cutting any ribbons. I actually take a little bit of joy in chopping the ribbon flecks off at the very end. These digitizers are pretty tough. They only really break when damage occurs at the edges and corners. I don't really recommend testing them this way unless your name is TechRax. From here I'll remove the 4 screws in each corner of the LCD, but these screws are only one of 3 things keeping the display in place. I'm guessing Apple was highly concerned that the LCD would free itself somehow and then defy physics by phasing through the sheet of glass that also holds it down, or they just love setting traps. To disarm the second display killer, slip a tool under the center of the LCD to apply some upward pressure and encouragement, but don't pull up just yet. Using a longer tool, preferably a nylon spudger, or as Apple's official documentation calls them, black stick. No, I'm not kidding. Slip the tool under either side of the display and slowly push it deeper underneath. Once it starts to lock up or the screen looks like it's on the verge of shattering, grab a second tool and insert it on the opposite side. Now the display should be released, but stop! Don't pull it up just yet. We have one last trap to disarm. At the very bottom you'll find 2 pieces of tape holding the LCD on either side. The tape is short enough, but strong enough that if you lift the panel, it will shatter from the bottom. Well played, Mr. Jobs. Well played. Finally, the display panel can be lifted up entirely, but if you thought you could disconnect it here, you'll be sorely disappointed. Over the battery sits a thin, sharp sheet of aluminum that also covers the LCD and digitizer connection. This also ensures that the battery experiences dangerous pressure against sharp metal if it starts to expand. 7 small Phillips screws later, the panel is free but still won't come out easily. You'll need to grab your favorite separating tool and shim it under the sheet in the center, then pull upwards to bend the aluminum out of the frame. Can we disconnect it now? Nope. We've still got 3 more screws securing a smaller aluminum shield over the connectors. One of these screws is longer than the other. It goes in the side closest to the walls of the frame. Disconnecting the battery is pretty important. And at long last, the LCD connector, which is dangerously close to exposed surface-mounted components. Fair warning at this point, the digitizer connector on the board is exceptionally weak and can rip off at any time, which will require microsoldering to replace. There are no special techniques or angles, just an equal chance lottery. Cleaning the frame of the old adhesive is super important. I use a razor blade to strip it out from the bezel. But be careful not to go in at a harsh angle or your razor may cut through the soft aluminum frame. Once I'm satisfied that all the old adhesive is off, I'll coat the edges of the frame with some 3M tape primer. This isn't required, but if you have some, it can make the adhesive bond incredibly well and reduce or entirely prevent any amount of glass lifting the customer may encounter in the future. Next, I'll connect the new digitizer to the board and lay it flat. After that comes the LCD, which I will lay across the battery, which I'll connect temporarily for testing purposes. Once I know everything is working well, I'll start the process of reassembling the whole thing. All in all, the iPad Mini and Mini 2 aren't very difficult to repair once you know the steps and how to disarm the traps, and it's still a great tablet for basic internet browsing, streaming, and reading. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, you have my thanks, and why not go ahead and hit subscribe so you can catch more repair guides. I release at least 1 video a week, but if you want to catch some of the stuff that doesn't make it on YouTube, just head over to my Instagram and TikTok. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.